Hello and welcome to the DBTV magazine show. I'm your guest host, Cindy Carter. Today's show features a few people and places in Middle Tennessee. Now, Nashville's music scene gets a lot of attention, and deservedly so, but trust me, there's a lot more going on outside of that spotlight. First up, we head to a small community about 45 minutes outside of Nashville. Leapers Fork is beloved by locals and supported by artists and musicians, all of whom enjoy the simple life and want to keep it that way. In the heart of Tennessee's Williamson County, amid the rolling landscape of green pastures, forests, and the rambling Harpeth River, you'll find a small village, smack dab in the middle of beautiful nowhere, where music plays.
Well, it's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk.
And art inspires.
Hello there. How's everybody doing? Come on in.
And Southern charm is also on full display.
It's a way of life. It's very community oriented. It's a place where everybody knows everybody.
Leapers Fork has always been a special place for the farmers, merchants, and other folks who've settled and prospered here since the 1800s. But like many unincorporated spots in a modern world, Leapers Fork was on the verge of either being developed or abandoned when fate intervened. In 1991, Tennessean and preservationist Aubrey Preston was driving through the countryside and driving. He was looking for a place to turn around and head back to civilization when he stumbled across this village. But Leapers Fork was very different then compared to the Leapers Fork of today.
All of a sudden there's this little village, this little town with these turn-of-the-century buildings. And it was about a ghost town at that point. Almost, not quite.
But Aubrey and a few other like-minded individuals had a vision for Leapers Fork and led the charge for purchasing and preserving every aspect of the village, its history, and the surrounding properties.
So we have a little village that is remarkably preserved, and kind of what you see now is substantially what it'll be in the future.
A future and present where locals and creatives coexist.
Come on in and make yourselves at home. I was scared to death. I did not know what I was doing, really.
Lisa Fox owns and operates Leapers Creek Gallery, located in what used to be a Gulf filling station. Lisa was working as an artist in Nashville when Aubrey commissioned her to paint this mural inside his mother's Leapers Fork home. She quickly fell in love with the landscape she was painting.
He didn't want me to leave either, and so offered up this space, this room, as a gallery. Like, could you run a gallery for us in town and help us get it going?
We know how that is.
Lisa admits it took some time to get things going in this country village, 8 miles from the closest town.
I mean, it really was tough selling art out here, you know. It was just a very unusual thing in the middle of nowhere. And if I ever did sell a little bitty painting, the whole town would gather up and have a happy dance, you know. It'd be like this huge deal.
Today, more than 20 artists are on display in the gallery, most of whom are Tennesseans. Lisa and guardian of the gallery, Abby, couldn't be happier.
The main thing that I wanted it to be was a place where everyone felt comfortable coming. That it wasn't the kind of gallery where you stepped in and felt self-conscious or like that somebody was like trying to hard sell you something. But I wanted everyone to feel comfortable.
It's hard not to feel comfortable in Leapers Fork. Roughly 650 people call this community home. Dozens of others pass through here daily, shopping and visiting the local merchants. The David Arms Gallery is another art gallery in town. There's a day spa, a lawn chair theater experience. Anyone who wants to spend a night or two can rest up in Sweeney Cottage. And there are plenty of places to grab a good meal, like the always bustling Fox and Lock.
You get one side or two sides, three sides?
they gather around food and music here. And so this is kind of the go-to place where for community to just go connect, solve community problems, maybe accidentally run into somebody you write your next song with, or paint your next painting with, or make your next deal with, whatever. But it's important that we have places like this.
Aubrey Preston owns the restaurant that serves up sandwiches, southern desserts, and other comfort food. But there's also really good music on the menu. Singer-songwriters, special concerts, and open mics. Aubrey says, just like notable artists supported Leapers Creek Gallery early on, prominent musicians also offered their time and talent.
Oh, Larry Carlton and Mark Colley, and then Tim McGraw and Faith Hill were here, and Keith Urban early on, and so many folks that came out here and lent their talents and their creativity to inspire and kind of affirm what we were doing.
Today, Leapers Fork merchants and citizens are reaping the rewards that come from careful planning and preservation.
It's been just a lot of people who kind of found each other, people that love land, creators that are drawn to the land naturally because of the simplicity and the inspiration and the quietness that they can create in.
Leapers Fork is agricultural, it's artistic, but most of all, it's authentic. And it's smack dab in the middle of beautiful nowhere. When we come back, we'll introduce you to an artist who paints with a lot of color and a lot of laughter. Don't go anywhere.
Always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Yeah.
DBTV is the fastest growing TV network streaming 24/7 worldwide. DBTV can be seen on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, on demand, smart TVs, online at dbtv.tv, and on over 200 other platforms. DBTV can reach over 300 million households worldwide. Plus, DBTV can now be seen in Germany, Ireland, Mexico, and the United Kingdom. Don't you think it's a great time to advertise on DBTV and showcase your business to a worldwide audience? With advertising packages for all budgets and all businesses. Get more bang for your buck by running your ads on DBTV, the fastest growing television network, streaming 24/7 worldwide.
Welcome back to the DBTV Magazine Show. I'm Cindy Carter. In Nashville, artist Michael McBride uses bold colors and bold ideas to create street art, fine art, and everything in between. Step into Nashville visual artist Michael McBride's studio and you instantly pick up on his vibe. Jazz plays in the background, his artwork is proudly displayed on the walls, and the man just can't seem to talk for too long without laughing. A lot.
Oh, enjoy all of them immensely. I mean, I enjoy art. At the age of 8, I told my parents I was going to be an artist. And so that feeling that I had at age of 8, I still have it now at the age of 64. You know, it has never left me. I never deviated from that.
Michael's varied background includes design, illustration, watercolor painting, printmaking, ceramics. He's an art professor, a muralist, and a keen observer of the human condition.
Most of my work is figurative, people and faces and things, because I find them fascinating. I do people watch. As an artist, man, you look at everything. People, insects, you just look at everything. Whatever affects you, you will be surprised at the things if you're open as an artist to the nuances around you and your environment.
Michael says much of his art depicts African Americans because that is his experience, but he doesn't shy away from any subject matter or theme. There are a few common threads in Michael's work, perhaps most notably his use of color, rich and saturated, a reflection of both his aesthetic and his positive outlook.
Good trouble. Yes.
Good Trouble is the title of perhaps Michael's most notable Nashville mural to date.
Wow, that's the biggest one I've done,
He was commissioned to paint civil rights activist and Congressman John Lewis, appropriately along downtown Nashville's John Lewis Way, and to do so in a way that highlights Lewis's many historic ties to Music City.
It's such an honor because he was a great man. And to be able to do something of that prominence, because it's big, it's like 54 by 54 feet. So it's pretty big.
Michael has created more than 20 murals in Nashville. His first one went up in the 1980s on Church Street. He says he has a lot of gratitude for how far he's come since then, what he's been able to accomplish, and what might happen next.
I'm living my dream of what I want to do.
A dream that took root in rural Tennessee, just outside of Jackson.
So I was a PK, a preacher's kid. So my mother would let me, these old Bibles they used to have had these wonderful engravings in them. And my mother would let me take blank paper, typing paper and a pencil, and she knew that would keep me quiet in church for 2 or 3 hours,
From those humble beginnings, Michael went on to study art and illustration in college and graduate school, just soaking in everything he learned by studying great artists. Eventually, he was able to develop his own technique and style, which is on full display in his artwork today.
I call it kaleidoscope painting, and when I was in graduate school, that's when it evolved. Combination of looking at Picasso's Cubist painting and then merging Aaron Douglas with his geometric designs, which is African based in that, and merging those two together.
Michael really enjoys creating series or collections of paintings that carry the same theme but also stand alone in their individuality.
My iconic pieces, I came up with that series, and when you look at iconic pieces, it's not really about any skin color, it's just about color shaping these images, and it becomes very interesting. Dolly Parton doesn't have black eyes, but all of these images have black eyes, and you don't even think about it when you see it.
He has a series devoted to African American writers and another that depicts 25 of his father's sermons.
Each painting would be the title of the sermon.
A series both contemporary and deeply personal. But you could argue all of Michael McBride's work is personal, also colorful and distinctive. Created by an artist who likes his jazz and loves to laugh. Almost as much as he likes to paint.
I can create any kind of world I want as an artist on canvas. I can make myself happy, no matter what's going on around me. That's the beauty of that.
Time to head west to Linden, Tennessee, once a very popular stop on the road between Nashville and Memphis. Linden is having a bit of a renaissance thanks to a historic hotel located on the town square. Time to check in to the Commodore. When the weekend rolls around in Linden, Tennessee, you'll need to follow State Route 100 to the town square. Hang a right at the classic car, walk past the mini Pearl statue, and make a hard left when you hear the music play. That's when you'll know you've reached your destination, the Commodore Hotel. A historic hotel that has reemerged as the place in Linden to stop in, stop by, or spend a night or two.
And there aren't a lot of historic hotels left. They've been, especially in small towns, they've been knocked down because there was no business.
Not here, not anymore. Business is back at the old hotel thanks to owners Michael and Kathy Dumont, who fell in love with the Commodore in 2004.
No intention of ever running a hotel. We were going to renovate it and turn it over to an operator, and that was our plan. And things change.
Boy, did they. After years of disregard and dilapidation, the Dumonts turned the hotel and Linden into a destination, like it was back when the town was a frequent overnight stop in between Nashville and Memphis.
We have stories of Elvis coming through here and Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Elvis supposedly had his hair cut here in town one day.
It was a shave.
Oh, it was a shave.
Yes.
Okay.
The original building was built in 1939 by local businessman Robert Staley, who ran the hotel and cafe until he passed away in the 1950s.
It went into disrepair for about 20, 25 years, and then we bought it.
Bought it and slowly brought the hotel back to life, much to the great interest of the locals who were understandably curious about these strangers from the Northeast.
The town embraced the project and us at that time because while we were renovating, my whole job basically was my days were spent touring people around. The local townspeople and everything would come to town. They would say, I'm so glad that you're saving this.
And the Dumonts wanted to save as much of the original hotel as they possibly could, while modernizing it to keep their guests comfortable. The Commodore's lobby just feels like something out of an old movie or television show. Behind the front desk, the restored staircase leads to the second floor guest rooms, and no two are exactly alike.
Everything in the rooms is pretty much original. There were
Right.
4 bathrooms up there for 14 rooms when we first bought this. So we left those original bathrooms because they're quirky.
Rest assured, each bedroom now has its own unique bathroom and offers its own unique experience. Like the Commodore's quarters, the nautical themed room, like the hotel, is named for not this Commodore, but this one, Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry, a hero from the War of 1812. Or the Newport Suite, which pays subtle tribute to Commodore Perry's hometown of Newport, Rhode Island. The Dumonts can also customize the rooms with birthday, wedding, or other celebratory extras. The Commodore Hotel's footprint is actually larger than this building. There are 11 rooms inside the original hotel. But just a few steps down the sidewalk, there are 9 more renovated rooms inside what was once the town's boarding house. And a little further, on top of the old bank building, there's a loft space, bringing the total to 21. Yes, the Commodore does stretch out a bit along Main Street, but that gives guests an opportunity to dive into Linden's shops and businesses that have popped up around the town square since the hotel reopened.
It wasn't an easy path because when we opened this thing up, we had no goodwill built in. It wasn't a tourism destination, and so it took us a long time to get interest. A lot of things happened, some organically, some were forced.
That's because not long after the Dumonts moved to the area, a recession gave Linden the distinction of having the second largest unemployment rate in the country. There were few jobs, few visitors, and plenty of boarded up buildings. A little Linden reinvention was in order, and the hotel's reinvention was the start.
So to have a 24/7 presence in a small town is actually a real benefit to the local community and the local business community.
Now, the small town is once again a stop for folks who want to get away enjoy history, appreciate art, maybe even fish or kayak on the nearby Buffalo River, all of which the Commodore tries to facilitate.
People from the big cities, we thought it's peace and quiet, get away from the city, take a breath, lower your blood pressure.
And the Commodore Hotel is also, once again, a place where locals can gather to mix and mingle with those big city folks and each other.
We have our speakeasy or bar lounge, and then we also have a restaurant which is open for lunch and dinner on weekends, and we have live music on Friday and some Saturday nights.
So if you want to join in on the fun, you don't really need directions. Once you get to Linden, it's easy to spot the Commodore Hotel. It's the place that looks like history, but feels like home. Up next, we're headed to Nashville to speak with some musicians. Believe me, it's not what you're thinking. We'll be back with more of the DBTV magazine show right after this.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted to. My love, my love, my love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
Nashville's stages often host a very special children's music program, one that requires the parents to learn right next to their kids. Presenting the Cremona Strings Ensemble 2. It's Saturday morning, and musicians young and some a few years older arrive at the Hadley Park Regional Community Center in Nashville. The hard work these very special artists do here is what makes their many performances across Middle Tennessee noteworthy.
We can either bring more people into the field of music or create more music appreciation individuals, and that's important to me.
Lisa Spells is the founder and music director of the Cremona Strings Ensemble 2 and Development Group.
1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4
The 2 in the title is meant to separate these music makers from the original Cremona Strings Ensemble, which was founded in the 1960s by Nashville African-American musician and teacher Robert Bob Holmes.
He went to the school board and asked if he could teach African-American children in segregated school system at that time to learn strings, and he was told adamantly, no, black children do not have the aptitude to play strings.
Holmes then went outside of the school system to bring together music and children who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to try.
I am one of the original children who started in the 3rd grade, actually.
Today, Lisa carries on that musical mission with not only the children you see here, but their parents as well. That's right. This nonprofit is designed for children 4 years and older who don't have access or the opportunity to take string lessons. But the children accepted must also be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian who is also willing to learn.
But why would you ask, would the adult have to also learn to play the instrument?
so that they won't say to their child learning, oh, that sounds awful. I'll hurry up and learn how to do that. Get better. Maybe that's not for you.
The setup may be a bit unorthodox, but Lisa says this type of side-by-side learning and sharing and playing is why the students who eventually move on do so successfully.
Thank you.
Cellist Michael Brady also joined the original Cremona Strings as a child and is more than happy to serve as a mentor to this new generation.
To come again and to work with students with string instruments just gives me pleasure, and I don't mind sharing what I've learned to keep the legacy going.
The strings in Cremona Strings are the viola, the violin, the cello, and bass. The instruments, music, and music stands are provided to the musicians at no cost.
We are a classical organization first, but we also do a little fiddling. Get that Tennessee flair.
Okay, Andrew, show me E flat. All right, how about F sharp? That's so great. I can learn so much from Andrew, and that's the point. This program builds skills that stretch far beyond any rehearsal space or performance space and benefits the entire community.
You learn to have discipline. It transfers into your study habits, it transfers into your family construct, it transfers into combined organizational structures.
These disciplined artists also study music theory, music history, and composition. Violinist Nevaeh Bass understands this is what it takes to make dreams come true.
He won a signed Golden Eagle Award for his music and composition.
When I was in kindergarten, my class took a trip to the Nashville Symphony, and I had told my mom while I was there I wanted to be on that stage playing one of the instruments.
And 11-year-old Andrew Calloway is grateful to Cremona Strings for getting him started on his musical journey.
Miss Lisa asked me, what instrument do you want to play, violin or viola? And I was hesitant because I didn't know what they were. But my brother immediately said violin, so I took it up upon myself to play the viola.
As school and community arts programs are eliminated or underfunded, this unique ensemble gently pushes back.
I love playing because it gives me joy. It gives me a lot of feelings that I haven't felt before.
Audiences lucky enough to catch a Cremona Strings Ensemble 2 performance also feel that joy. And that's why those early Saturday morning rehearsals are worth every note. Well, that does it for this episode of the DBTV Magazine Show. I've thoroughly enjoyed taking you on a tour of a few Tennessee treasures. And remember, to see more episodes of the Magazine Show and other great programming on the network, visit dbtv.tv. Until then, I'm Cindy Carter.
Storybox Audio.